Silverseed came to a close in the last part, and what better way to close it than facing off against an evil cunning lich known none other as Aramdol. Before the Avatar entered his domain, however, yet another female monk appeared before the champion of balance. This lady was much more flirty and friendly than the other two, though still entirely untrustworthy, if you couldn't tell from her portrait. Especially considering the bad advice her sister gave us before entering the abandoned outpost. Basically, long story short on her end, she told us to flick every other lever in the dungeon in a certain room in order to progress. Before even entering into the dangerous parts of the Lich's dungeon, the Avatar came across a rather talkative dragon named Draxinia or something like that, who is also known as Stumpy. I'm not kidding, that's what his dragon friend says he calls him. He gave us information on all the evil critters roaming about, such as the man spiders called Arachnians, as well as a bit of information on Aramdol himself. Then, he gave us some fun riddles to solve before we went on our way. The dungeon itself was pretty tough. Lots of traps, lots of enemies. No surprise that it was filled with undead other than the Arachnians, considering that it was ran by an evil lich. The toughest enemy in the entire dungeon though, however, was by far Aramdol himself. As soon as we entered his chambers, a dangerous fire-field spell lands right on our party. It took a few reloads to get past that. Then he went invisible. I couldn't dispel it because I was out of mana, so I waited until his spell ran out before peppering him with arrows and crossbow bolts. Magical ones. He went down pretty quickly right after that. Taking his keys, and hopefully he didn't have a phylactery on him or anywhere else or something like that, so he's dead for good, we went north. Opened the doors led into his vault, and a whole veritable treasure cache of treasures. What else? Very powerful ones too, one of which was Aranon's axe, which gives plus 10 to your combat stat, maxing it out for the Avatar. Gauntlets of quickness, which do the same thing but for dexterity, and the final magical orb, as well as some gemstones and some other cool stuff like magical armor, helmet, and leggings, I believe, that I gave to YOLO. With the last magical orb in hand, we can conclude this awesome expansion. Digging further into Death Watch, pressing a secret switch behind a candlestick, or button rather, the Avatar found 4 pedestals for the orbs, giving way to the Silver Seed. Once the Avatar picked up the Silver Seed, however, the 3 witches from earlier teleported in and tried to stop him. One of them let out that the guy they were following is actually the Guardian, which pretty much sealed their doom. With all these awesome artifacts the Avatar was carrying, they proved to be very easy. Had to add some sort of final boss to this awesome expansion, I guess. Past that, the Avatar and his companions reached a glade. We're outside for a change here in Silverseed. Karnax then somehow miraculously teleports himself straight through time like he's the frickin' Time Lord, and urges the Avatar to plant the Silver Seed in the dirt patch. The Avatar did so, or in this case the Champion of Balance, which grew a brand spanking new silver tree. Karnax said this will help slow the imbalance in some way. If you do this way later in the game after a specific plot point, his line changes a little bit, something I can't really test out unfortunately. The part ended not long after that, and Silverseed is all over and done with. The Avatar ended up getting a massive amount of experience from the entire ordeal, over 14k experience points, leaving him at level 9. With that and all those artifacts we found here in Silverseed, the Avatar is more than ready to go after Batlin and further along more into Serpent Isle. Hello guys, welcome back to some more Ultima VII Part 2 Serpent Isle, Silverseed, which is all over and done with, and SI fixes. So I completely forgot up to this point, I left some things back at Death Watch. Mainly the Serpent arrows, and I think that's about it, as well as the door we couldn't unlock. Not the one leading to the Silver Seed, but the other door. I think you know what I'm talking about, but I'll go back later. I don't think I can go back anyways, because my mana is very low. And, oh no. We gotta go back to, Moonshade. Wonderful. So I think for this part, and it's with heavy heart to say that I actually recorded this a bit earlier than usual, the other day. However, I lost like an hour and a half for recording, because, well, I didn't save at all other than the quick save slot, and what happened is I accidentally loaded a previous save, and when you do that, it overwrites the quick save slot. So yeah, I'm doing this all over again, so it might be a little bit weird, at least for me. We're back. I think for this part, we're gonna hit the next story point, and it's a bit of a doozy. It's actually one of the biggest moments in this game that's kind of famous, or infamous rather. If you play this game, you know what I'm talking about. Before we do that, I'm gonna go to the tavern, talk to Hawk, and try to find a way off this island. I think he's required. Maybe I talk to someone else after that. And after that, I'm gonna buy some spells, I think from at least one person. Now, I'll probably just speed past that point, because I want to hit the next part kind of quickly. If I had to guess, it's probably going to take, like, 10 minutes. And also, Shamno's hungry. You know what? We didn't eat at all back in Silverseed, I don't think. No, we did. It's currently 8 in the evening. Let's talk to Bucia first. Is she still in here? She is in here. Is Flindo in here as well? No, he's not. He's never in here. Haven't seen him in here yet. Alright, let's talk to... Actually, hold on. Let me see if I have enough guilders in my possession. 1700. I think that'll do for now. Let's just hold on to that. I'm not going to buy every spell here. I'm ready to get out of Moonshade. I'm actually a little disappointed that I'm here. I really want to stay back at Deathwatch as a preference, but let's go talk to Hawk. I gotta do this all over again, my goodness. I thought the commentary was pretty good, too. I hope I hit the same points I did last time. A pleasure to see you again, Ruben. So what can I do for you, lad? Do you know how I can leave this island? So you're still trying to leave this island? That's what I said. Well, I didn't want to mention it before, but there are caves in the southern mountains. Legend says that they lead to the mainland, if thou canst find the right path. But none who ventured there have ever returned. I wager that Julia doth have possession of a key that would let thee in down there. But I would think twice if I were thee before I made such a journey. If only you knew, Captain Hawk, where I've been the last 4 parts, bye. And prior to that in previous Ultima games. But unfortunately, we gotta talk to Julia, which is wonderful. I don't want to talk to her. She's very, very mean. I don't like mean girls. Or mean guys. Or meanness in general. What'd I just say? She's already yelling at someone right now, probably poor Ernesto. Oh, there she is. Catacombs. So thou hast learned of the catacombs, hast thou? Yes, I have. I hope thou hast not ventured to those ruins south of town. They are dangerous. Well, I haven't. I do not care what thou art after, but I'll tell thee that thou wilt throw thy life away down there. The depths belong to the Ratmen, not to mention the burning heat. That is why the gate must always be locked. You said Ratmen? There are too many Ratmen to eliminate, so it is my duty to see that the gate remains closed. All that I and the other rangers can do to keep them pacified is to toss scraps of food through the gate. Of course, my job is to keep any of those creatures from getting into the city, but I might be able to forget that I saw anyone going down there, if the price was good enough. Oh, great. I gotta pay you money? Wonderful. Well, we do have plenty of money, so whatever. But I doubt even thou would survive the heat down there. Though the Ratmen thrive on it, the temperatures down there would most certainly, and certainly is spelled incorrectly, certainly, boil thee in thine own flesh. This place sounds like hell. Burning heat. It's not hell, but it sounds like it. Only once did I ever venture into the catacombs with 20 strong rangers at my back, and before we had gone far, half of our party had fallen to the heat alone. It felt like we were walking into a smith's forge. We had to turn back, and no one hath gone in there since. I might be tempted to loan thee the key at a price, I get your hint. But not until thou hast found a way to protect thyself from the fervid temperatures. Given thou the key now, it means, certain death, should thou be foolhardy enough to venture there. A sword may protect thee from the Ratmen, but only magic can save thee from the fearsome heat. Return to me for the key when thou hast found the means to survive the heat. Alright, well, we know of one person who can give us a cold spell, or something to handle the heat. You know who it is, Frigidazzi. She was in the banquet with Fabercio during that meeting a long time ago. A couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. Also, when I said I messed up my recording, did I say an hour and a half? I forget what I said exactly when it came to the duration, but yeah, it was going to be a long part. Because I was trying to finish an area later on, but I think I was only halfway done, so this part's probably just going to be an hour at least. Time for a longer part for a change, but I'm going to go talk to Mortegro. I think he's at home. I don't think he's with Gustachio. There's his automaton. I hope he's here. Leave these doors open for now. Who cares? But he's not in here. What the deuce? Ah, there he is. He was not at his home. Well, let's talk to him. There's a reason why I want to talk to him by spells. But you'll learn later on. No need to do a seance. Learn spells. I can teach you spells for a fee. You only accept skilders. And which circle art thou interested in? What do you have for first? We got telekinesis. I'll try to do this quickly. I don't think I need to skip. Alright, that took more time than I thought, but I bought every spell from Mortegro, and man, what a greedy dude. He won't, and maybe other mages are the same way, but for the 9th circle, we couldn't even haggle down the price. It cost 1,200 guilders to buy Imbalance. And these are like in the high hundreds, Death Vortex and Mass Death. There's a reason why I wanted to buy from him before moving on. Every other mage is fine. I most especially want to destroy Trap, and you get that from Columna. But here's what we have so far. 1st circle, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. I think now we have more spells than we did when we first started, when we landed on the beach at the beginning of the game. 6, 7, pretty bare here a little bit. 8th and 9th. So I think now is a good time, and I'll make another save, just in case something stupid happens like yesterday. Go talk to Frigidazzi. And also check out to see how much guilders I have left. 1030. I exchanged everything we could for guilders, and we have 1,000 guilders left. That's wonderful. May want to go ahead and send these to Boydon. Or I forget. So I don't like the avatar's inventory to be all cluttered. He carries a lot. But yeah, there's a reason why I wanted to buy from Mortegro. Man, what a cheapskate. It's not easy to haggle with him. He doesn't like haggling. Every other mage is fine, I've noticed. Or it could just be my imagination. The 9th circle, there's no option to haggle. That's funny. I spent over maybe 2,000 guilders buying spells from him, but we got everything we need from him, so let's just ignore that. This right here is Goblin. A lady goblin. We can't talk to her, though. We're here to talk to Frigidazzi. This is obviously her home, and she is standing here for some reason. I imagine she just ate. Hello, milady. Yes, we met at the Mage Lord's banquet. That text above their heads went by very quickly. I noticed what they said, though. I'm Frigidazzi, of course. Yes, I remember you in your glittering dress. Yeah, we have your fur cap, by the way. Do you have my magical helmet? Why, thou dost have my favorite fur cap. I have been looking for it everywhere. In fact, I have not seen it since that storm we had a while ago. That would mean that I have something that belongs to thee. I shall trade thee thine helm for my fur cap. Nice. And do you know of Gweno, I guess? Yes, I saw her briefly a few times while she was in our city. She spent a lot of time at the seminarium. Gweno had a lot of interest in the exotic races of our land. That's all she has to say about it. What of Batlin? That disgusting oaf. Yep, that's definitely him. He wanted to buy a serpent relic from me, but I did not sell it to him. Ah, the serpent's tooth. Cannot we find a different topic of conversation? Well, let's move on to the serpent relic you were talking about. I already know what it is. It was not very remarkable, merely a stone the shape of a serpent's tooth, as I said. It had no powers that I know of. It does, actually. It's useless without the jawbone, though. Many of us have these stones. In fact, it is tradition for the best mages to own one or more of them. Canst thou keep a secret? And I like how this is either a yes or a no. No, lady, I can't. We'll say yes, though. I can tell thee from whence the serpent teeth came. Erstum. The mages of Moonshade steal them from Erstum, of course. The mad mage lives on the island. It is such fine sport, but if he catches thee, he turns thee into a newt. I imagine he would do something worse than that. I know because we've been there. That place is a house of horrors. We do not know why he values him so, and since he now hates us, I doubt that he shall explain the matter to us. What about that goblin woman that I saw around the house, your house? Yes, I have a goblin for a servant. What of it? She is a perfect servant because she is almost completely impervious to the cold. That's handy. It's like the Nords in the Elder Scrolls. 50% off from, not off, but resistance to the cold. But surely we can think of more interesting things to talk about. Yeah, I know, spells. I'll get to that in a few minutes. What do you know of Moonshade? A beautiful city, is it not? Not really. But ever so much more beautiful at night when the moon is shining down upon it. Dost thou not agree? I guess. Anyways, I heard you're the lady to talk to when it comes to, spells that withstand very hot temperatures. Do you know anything about that? Am I right? I could teach thee many things, Reuben. Come after midnight, alone, to my manor, and I shall reveal such knowledge as thou hast never before beheld. That sounds wonderful. Why can't we do it here, though? Why can't we exchange spells here? A bit strange to ask me to come here at midnight. It's like 4 hours from now. I'm a heavy sleeper, so thou shalt most likely have to awaken me. Knowledge. I'm the mistress of cold fire magic, a specialty I learned during my many travels to the north. Extreme cold is in its own way just as powerful a force as extreme heat. Over time, I've learned to bend it to my will. You travel to the north. Some of my most memorable experiences have been on my various expeditions to the north. It is a harsh and unforgiving environment that brings out the passionate will in one's heart to survive. It is extremely invigorating. And I shall tell thee is that, all I shall tell thee is that if thou shouldst ever travel there, thou shouldst dress warmly. Okay, bye. So long until next time, she says, and let's open my pack because she actually gives you the magical helm, and I think that's a SI Fixes thing. I think in the original, she doesn't give you the helmet back. You have to go to her bedroom, into her dresser. There's a magical helmet there for you to take. I think. I'm not entirely sure. I could be wrong. Because I thought when you go into her dresser, you will be on there in a few minutes, but I thought the magical helmet in her dresser is the one that belongs to the Avatar. I vaguely remember something like that. And we actually don't need this chain coif because no one can wear it. So I'll let Duper hold on to it. In fact, it's probably worthless. There's not a whole lot of party members in this game, by the way. You can see it's kind of bare. Voidon is the newest one, and there's a few others. We may run across them in the future. We need to throw away that two-handed sword, actually, too. And we gotta go to sleep. The two-handed sword is actually not a good weapon. It's barely better than the sword of defense by 1 point. The halberd is the best two-handed weapon, as I keep saying. 11 points of damage. Voidon's gonna do some damage once his dex in combat is up. Just gonna sleep in Rodaluncia's house since no one else is using it. And you know what? The avatar is level 9. That means he can cast level 9 spells. He is basically an adept here by Moonshade standards. Well, I'm gonna go to sleep for 3 hours night-night. Why 3 hours? Because it's almost gonna be midnight by the time we go back. It'll be 11:50. I probably have to wait a few seconds, at least for me, not you. Not you guys. Didn't gain much mana, though. We really need the destroy trap spell. I'm actually glad I had a restart. Because, well, maybe I spoiled a little bit. There's some trap chests later in the game, and it's helpful now, especially since we have the ring reagents, to cast destroy trap. Let me go back outside real quick. And I gotta wait a few seconds, so, yeah.
A few moments later.
Alright, it's currently midnight. It only took a few seconds. I'm gonna make a before Frigidazzi save, just in case something bad happens. I don't think it will. I'm sure I'll be able to get my spells and leave in due time. She said come alone, but I'm gonna ignore that. It's just spells. We bought spells with other mages, with my companions present. And yeah, here we are. The dress... Oh, didn't need to wake her up. I'm not a fool. You invited me here, lady. But you may notice a key and a magical helmet. Like I said, I vaguely remember in the base DOS version and the version where you just play Serpentile without SI fixes on Exalt, you had to come here and get the magical helm. I think this is the magical helm that belongs to the avatar. I can't say for sure, but, well, let's not worry about that. Let's talk to Miss Frigid. Oh, 'tis thee. Yes, it's me. You're changing your tune now that you were rude to me earlier, weren't you? Thou didst come. I cannot express how pleased I am to see thee again, Reuben. But this matter of the spells, it must be discussed in private. Only mages may hear the secrets which I am about to reveal. Wouldst thou please ask thy minions to depart? Well, they're not my minions, they're my companions, and my friends. But sure, I guess things work here differently in Moonshade. They're just mundanes, after all, here. I think I'll wait outside. Funny that Voidon is, the one speaking that line. Have fun. It's just spells, guys. I'll be done in a few minutes. I love the night. So quiet. So dark. Why is the music so flirty? I like the little pool here, though. It's neat. Doesn't the floor get cold on your feet? I'm so glad that thou hast met me here, sweet avatar. I find strangers appealing. That's a funny animation. I feel so comfortable around thee. It is as though we have known each other before, perhaps in some other existence. Do not be formal with me, Reuben, please. Come join me here, by the pool. About those spells. Why art thou in such a rush? In Moonshade, we know to mix pleasure with business. Kinda in a rush, I'm trying to find that disgusting oaf you called Batlin. A young girl's life is in danger. A little girl knight from Monitor. Well, a knight to be. I'm sure that there is time for us to know each other better before this matter of the spells must be conducted. Thou shouldst learn to relax. Ow! I didn't hear those words of power before, whatever she said. To know that thou art a mage, yet to see that thou art so manly. Dash dash. This is most uncommon in Moonshade. Yeah, I've noticed. Thou hast come to learn spells. If I can teach thee some true magic, I could die to be taken into thy brawny arms. Okay, I'm starting to understand why I was brought here alone at midnight in her bedroom. A little bit. Wouldst thou kiss me, Reuben? That's a little bit too fast here, but I'm going to say yes. I'm just going to pretend I'm kissing her cheek or something. There's a reason why I'm saying yes, because if you say no, the scene kind of ends really quickly. So sure. Nothing wrong with a little kiss, I guess. Now that I have tasted thy lips, well, I kissed your cheek, so... There's just a little peck, guys. I had to choose yes. I think that mine infatuation with thee doth grow. Strange, dash dash. 'Twas so cold in here when thou didst enter, but now I feel suddenly warm. I have not felt alive, so alive, in many months. Perhaps, I am not sure how to say this, but... Dost thou desire my body, Avatar? I like how it's like a yes or a no question. You could say, like, no. I imagine that's what the Avatar is actually saying when you choose these things. Just one word, not full sentences. What about that one guy? What's his name? All right, Philby. The Mage Lord? Yeah, the guy you're seeing. Did you just forget about him? Oh, how canst thou think of him when the two of us are here together, becoming intimate? Perhaps this shall arouse, thine interest. That's snooty. That's not a word of power. Oh my god. Milady. I think there is a magical peeping Tom outside, and he just casted a spell to disrobe and take off all your clothes. I will go outside and take care of the pervert, milady, and I'll come back to this room with you, fully dressed, and we could discuss our business with spells. Or, she's going to dance a dance of passion. Beware, Reuben. I shall now begin the dance of passion, which no mortal can resist. Okay, time out. I know, I'll get to this in just a few seconds, but remember what I said about how this game can be really perverted? And I said there's, well, you haven't seen anything yet? Well, this is the end of things, so just watch. I'm not even going to say anything. I'll read that in a little bit, but a little bit of trivia here. This scene was almost removed from the game. That dancing scene. May not be... what's the word? Perverted, graphic, nowadays. But back in the day, this was really graphic. So graphic that I think it was EA who told Origin that they wanted this scene removed from the game. But the order never came, so the writer who wrote this scene, and there were 3 writers to this game. One was Raymond Benson, the other Bill Armentrout, and the other was a woman, I think, Sherry, I forget, I think it starts with an S. One of the guys wrote this scene. The order never came, so he just kept it in the game. And many years later, I get to do a Let's Play of it, surprisingly, and the few dozens of you guys are able to see this scene on your computers, or your phones, or your tablets. So, yeah. And also, before I forget, I'm not one of those guys who are like, this game hasn't aged well. Modern devs maybe don't. Like, I've always found that to be a little silly. This is just a game. That character's not real. It's just pixels on a screen. And that's it. That's all I have to say about that. So I'll just go ahead and read this. No mortal can resist the dance of passion. Tell me that thy blood hath been stirred to a frenzy. I like how this is also a yes or no question. So, I'm flattered. I'm sure the Avatar is flattered. But I don't really know you. I'm just here for spells. I kind of don't want to lay with someone who's been with someone like Fabercio. So I'm going to say no. The Avatar is really good at resisting magical influence. Do you notice the parallel between her and the Avatar, as with Ensorcio from Sleeping Bull and the Adept's daughter, if you remember? So I'm going to say no. If you were Alisan or Thoxa, I would just say yes. You would not even finish dancing, but I'm flattered, but no. No, that does not understand. As I said, no mortal can resist the dance of passion. Well, I just did. Oh, great. Here comes Fabercio. What? Frigidazzi, why is this stranger in thy chambers? And where are thy clothes? Darling, this is such a surprise. I have an explanation for everything. I'm not daft, sorceress. I can see very well what hath been happening here. You lost your clothes and the Avatar was here to help you find them, am I correct? What a fabulous guy. You're a good man, Avatar, Reuben. A true knight of Moonshade. Or not. What dost thou have to say in thy defense, Reuben? I could say I'm guilty, I could say I'm innocent, or I can say I'm leaving, which is what I'm gonna do. Not so fast, peasant. I have a special punishment reserved for those who dare to play games with my mistresses. Mistresses? I thought you just had one. No, do not, Fabercio. Spare this one from thy wrath. Do not send him into the pit. I demand that this criminal be punished by the Council of Mages. Let the Quorum of Mages be convened instantly. Hey! Okay, where am I now? A trial, another farcical one, probably wonderful. Order in the court. We have convened this day to hear the case of Reuben, who hath committed treason. Treason? I didn't swear fealty to you. I'm just a traveler. This criminal is charged with lusting at the mistress of the Mage Lord. I wasn't lusting after her. She was just dancing naked for me. Okay, when I put it like that, that sounds terrible. Since when is this a crime? What doth the lady say, as Yellow says? Be silent, or thou too wilt be sentenced to the pit for thine insolence. Let me speak, Frigidazzi. I beg of thee, Mage Lord Fabercio, to spare this person's life. It was all my fault. After all, no mortal can resist the dance of passion. Yeah, it's her fault. It's my fault. Nothing happened, or say nothing. I mean, nothing happened. Which is true. My fellow wizards, I am sure that you are able to see beyond this criminal's denials. After all, I caught him in the bedchamber of dear Frigidazzi. I was invited. It's her bedchamber, not yours. Please be seated, Frigidazzi. We shall now hear from the character witnesses. The good lady, Busia. This stranger came into my shop and asked many strange and personal questions concerning the sorceress Frigidazzi. That's not true. We could say it's a lie, or I was only curious, or say nothing. I'm just gonna say nothing. Nothing you say is right anyways, like this line here. He says, Aha, the cad doth not even rise in his own defense. He must be guilty. Jeez, it's like that episode in The Simpsons where Homer's being interviewed on a news show for, this We Can episode. Funny episode. Also, that's not how it works. What the heck? My silence only incriminates me further. I see how it works here. Let us hear from the next witness. Merchant Flint. Oh, great. This guy has a lot of good things to say about me, I'm sure. I did travel with this person upon my recent voyage from the Inn of the Sleeping Bull, and I had many long talks with him. I must report that his character is not to be trusted. He is, lowercase. He is a liar, a fraud, and is known to consort with people of the lowest type. What'd I just say? Oh, like thyself, or I deny this charge? I'm just gonna say nothing. Nothing you say is gonna be right. He always attacks you, whatever you say. So this one is fine. Yet, he was a good traveling companion, able with sword and bow, so I ask for thy leniency, Mage Lord. Thanks for thy witness, good merchant. Thou mayest be seated. I see Mortegros here as well, and Gustachio. Lords and adepts, you have heard the evidence. Reuben did come amongst us like a disease, to bring destruction upon us all. Worst of all, he doth dared, or hath dared, to tamper with the affection of she whom I hold most dear, the good sorceress, Frigidazzi. How do you judge him? For the crime of entering the bedchamber of the Mage Lord's mistress, we must find him guilty, Mage Lord. You know what? Remember what I said about the parallel between Insorcio and the Adept's daughter? The story he told back in Moonshade, with Frigidazzi and the Avatar? Kind of similar, if you remember. Insorcio was in love with an Adept's daughter that he magically coerced her into sexual relations. Frigidazzi tried much the same thing, but the point I'm trying to make is that Insorcio, well, he got exiled, so I'm sure these guys are just going to exile me, which is fine by me. I am ready to leave Moonshade. You all suck. Most of you. Frigidazzi's okay. Captain Hawk is okay. Kane is okay. So yeah, good riddance to all of you. Guilty. And the sentence: as with all who offend the Mage Lord, this criminal must be sent to the hellhole known as Dungeon Freedom. Serious? Frigidazzi, are you that so insecure at, like, my presence because Frigidazzi was looking at me and not you or something? Like, it's worse. It makes more sense if you actually sleep with her. And I'll mention that in a few minutes. I'm not gonna get exiled, oh no. Well, I'm sure my companions will join me. They wouldn't leave me hanging, right? So if you're gonna sentence the Avatar, I demand you sentence us as well. We will help you, Avatar. It shall be with this criminal as... Oh, I forgot to read out Bucia's line, didn't I? Not that place. He shall never be seen alive again. It shall be with this criminal as with all others. If he can find his way back to the surface world, then he shall be a free man. Enough of this jabbering. Let justice be done, if you can call this justice. He is a dead man. He is doomed. We shall wait for thee, Avatar. You guys can join me. You're just gonna stay there? We're great friends, right? Greetings, Felon. Okay, another timeout. This is actually one of my favorite moments in the game. Because with Frigidazzi, you can choose to sleep with her. And back in the day, I did all options. And not gonna lie, I went through that scene all the way through when I was younger. I think we kind of all did if we played this. But nowadays, not really. But it's my favorite because when I was a kid, I didn't play a whole lot of games like this. And I actually thought there were, like, different branching paths depending on decisions you were going to make. So I tried to not sleep with Frigidazzi when I was a kid. And tried not to kiss her. All possible branches you can do in that conversation with Frigidazzi. But to my disappointment, it all leads to the same place, the Mountains of Freedom. And I want to talk about the scene a little bit, and you're going to see the sex scene play out a little bit. Not much happens really. After the Dance of Passion, the Avatar is all, oh, I can't wait. And then Frigidazzi magically disrobes him in much the same way she did herself. They kiss again. She removes the blankets off her bed, and they get in the death animation. And it lasts like 1 or 2 seconds, and then the Avatar wakes up. And keep in mind, the Avatar still has his weapon in his hand. In my case, my axe. And Frigidazzi's all, oh, that was amazing. And the Avatar was like, yeah, that was the best 1 or 2 seconds of your life, wasn't it? And then Frigidazzi teleports in, as usual, in his invisible cuck chair, and you're sent to the trial, and you're sent here. And I get why Frigidazzi had eyes for the Avatar, because you gotta look at it from her point of view. Moonshade is isolated from the world because of the storms. Not much trade is going on. And the only guys that are around her are like these pretty physically weak mages. You know, the only reason why they're so powerful, for Frigidazzi especially, politically at least, is because they can cast magic pretty decently. Without their magic, they'd be nobodies. So in walks the Avatar, this, not Chad, but he's basically a Giga Chad in the entire series. He's built like a Monitorian pikeman, and he can also cast magic. Pretty much better than any mage in Moonshade. So she was like already locked in on him, especially after he became a mage again in this game. Because they can't really, like, mages don't really mingle or fraternize with mundanes. You know, except in the case of Julia and Frigidazzi, so completely understand her viewpoint. Like, she was already, like, thirsty for a new experience. It's like, imagine growing up with a bunch of physically weak mages. They're not really, she's kind of bored, you know? And in walks something like the Avatar. Oh, a knightly looking dude who can cast magic? Wow. Like I said, I know I'm ranting right now, maybe a little bit too long, but even though I don't like Moonshade, I do like the characters, as in how they're written. This is actually one of my favorite moments in the game because of it. The whole dynamic of the Avatar being this chivalrous, virtuous man from Britannia, and most of the mages being these rather corrupt, hedonistic individuals, physically weak, where if they didn't have magical powers, they'd probably be nobodies. You know the writers wrote them in a specific way, not just in their personality, but in their physical appearance. That was done on purpose, I've noticed. At least that's how I see it. And the rant's not because of that carnal scene earlier, even though that would be understandable. For example, the hypocrisy of Frigidazzi, the Mage Lord, being the Mage Lord, he can sleep around with whomever he wants to, and no one can wag a finger at him, because he rules Moonshade. But if his mistress or mistresses want to, that's not allowed, even though they instigated. And he throws their object of affection into prison. Even though this game dabs on Lord British a lot, which you will see in a book in just a few minutes, you can see how the Serpent Isle will be better off with the 8 virtues instead of just leaving Britannia. I mean, you saw what just happened just now. You saw what happened in Fawn, and you saw the Knights in Monitor. All that basically speaks for itself. But I like how with how the story is written, with how corrupt the Serpent Isle is, that the Avatar is actually bringing a little bit of virtue here to these lands in at least a small way in each of the 3 towns. I guess I'll read this out now and play this section. Oh, great. It's a iRobot gabbing at me. Wonderful. Greetings, felon. Thou art in the Mountains of Freedom, a magical prison from which none have escaped. I'm the caretaker here. It is my duty to record thy name and crime. None of thy business. I'll just say I am Reuben. My condolences on thy sentence here, Reuben. With what crime art thou charged? I could say I am innocent, which is true. Angry for Bercia, which is also true. And I don't know, which might be true if you're role-playing a, kind of a dim-witted avatar. Sometimes he is. Angering for Bercia. Ah, thou art in fine company then, felon. Only yesterday we had another such felon arrive. Let us see. Stefano was his name. We heard about him, by the way, if you remember. I'll tell thee as I told him, sleep passes thy time here. It may provide thee with new ideas for winning thy freedom. Thou shouldst be wary of 2 rogue mages who roam through these passages. They came here in search of the forbidden reagent, Stoneheart, and never escaped. Be mindful of the other felons. Most are quite desperate by now, and will kill thee for what thou dost possess. In fact, they may prove to be thy greatest danger. There is another caretaker within the prison with a small supply of food and healing potions for sale, if thou dost need any. And if thou dost make it that far, of course. I will make rounds periodically to note who hath died for the records. Thou mayest notice that later that I take great care to memorialize all who perish here, so that passing shall not go unremarked. Oh, how nice of you. It's good to know that if I die here, that people will remember that I died here, I guess. Remember, if thou canst find thy way out, thou wilt be free. Goodbye, felon. Not really goodbye. I'm gonna meet you in a little bit. We can do something with him. But it looks like I'm not wearing much. Not even shoes. My goodness. We got our Hourglass of Fate. That's good. I have my Stoneheart for some reason. Organize that a little bit. My book, that's also handy. And funnily enough, they forgot to take my Ring of Reagents. I guess they thought it wasn't really important. It is a unique ring. Only the Avatar knows how powerful it is, as well as Surok. Basically, it's lost to time, because we were in the past when we got that ring. I just find it funny how the developer said, oh, I'd give the player the Ring of Reagents during this section. You know? Which was going to make it an easy section. We got a quarterstaff, which is cool. I've noticed something the last time I played. See that green line there? Right here. It's weird. Happens when you equip a 2-handed weapon like this one. I think a 2-handed sword. Let's just move on. Great. I'm in the Mountains of Freedom. Wonderful. I thought he was gonna exile me. Oh, great. Okay, so let's wander around a little bit. Go up here. Let's see what the automaton is doing. Ah, bag. 'Tis as a rubbish heap. Yes, that's what prisoners do. They make a mess. So this bag has, as you can see, excuse me, I'm getting tired already. 15 lockpicks. We got a pocket watch. We don't need this. We got some books that we'll read in a few minutes. Let's close, not the backpack. What am I doing? Ah, lovely. We got some pants. We got some gloves and some fur boots. Our very first fur boots. That's a bone flute. I don't need that. Kidney belt. Don't need that either unless you want the extra +1 to defense. And we got red. Lovely. I'm not going to take the alcohol. I'm trying to do something right now. There we go. That's what I needed to do. Oh, shan't steal the gold? Well, watch me. How about you? Our first combat encounter of this part. He hit me a little bit. He didn't hit me last time. This might take a while, because we don't have our Gauntlets of Quickness, nor the Axe, nor the Belt of Strength. You know, all those powerful items, and it was taken away from me. I mean, rightfully. Otherwise, it'd be way too easy. Before I loot anything here, I just want to say, the Mountains of Freedom. They built this place up to be very, very dangerous, and no one's ever escaped. And I bought into that when I was a kid. Because back when I was a kid, I've only played Ultima 7 and 8. But nowadays, I played all of them. Almost all of them. It's like, if only the Avatar had some form of experience leaving subterranean dungeons, prisons. There's maybe one game. I can't really recall it. What was it called? Yeah, it completely slipped my mind. Yeah, if only the Avatar had some kind of experience escaping impossible situations. I know of at least one moment in the entire Ultima series. Oh well, I'm sure it'll come to me later. Alright, we'll take another bag. It's got a key inside it. He's got the Sword of Defense. He can have this staff. Won't fit. It's fine. I'll take that then. That's not my backpack. That's his backpack. Put that on the keyring. Thankfully, we have a keyring now. I'm gonna keep bringing that up because that keyring is just oh so helpful, man. Really amazing piece of item back then. Kind of standard in the games nowadays with keys. That's invisibility dust. I'm probably not gonna grab that. I don't usually use it. I will take these potions though. That's a light potion. Healing potions. Cure potion, excuse me. I don't know what that does, and I think that's a sleeping potion. Is that a sleeping? That's purple, isn't that blue? I will not, I'll pick it up, why not? I'll also take the food. We can just create food, but let's try to ration our mana. We can pretty much just rest for 12 hours now once we get a bedroll. And if we're low on food, just create food with a spell. And that's about it. Ah, gold nuggets. Yeah, I'll take that. Might be helpful here. Might be helpful to put in the bag as well. As well as the, potions, I guess. For now. It's already been an hour on my end, but I think I cut a lot, sped up through a lot when I was buying spells. I think there were 10-20 minutes, because this dungeon is actually a little lengthy. Just a little lengthy. It was like an hour and a half when I was trying to play this the other day. And I think I was only halfway done. Ah, bandage, I'll take that. That's a invisibility ring. Don't really need it. I do need the bag though. And I'll put the potions in this bag. Really gotta stay on top of the inventory, as you know. There we go. Alright, anything else we need? Lockpicks. I'm pretty sure I finished this entire dungeon as a kid without consulting a guide. Which probably means it's not too bad. Because I actually kind of remember a lot of moments in this dungeon. It's actually memorable to me. That's locked. Do we have a key for it? We do. Guilders and gold nuggies. I'll take that. I'll take the gold too, or guilders rather. If you double click on the gold nuggets, the avatar will read out that line instead of your companions, which is pretty cool. Alright. And I think the orange there restores magical stuff, reserves, mana. I'll take it. The green poisons you. You don't want that. That's it. I probably spent a little bit longer in there than usual. Let's read those books, though. Like this one. Lord British's Tyrannical Adventure by Anon. Anon? Really? Lord British was a monarch who was haughty and vain, and especially proud of his despotic reign. But conceit of this sort isn't proper at all, and soon the old tyrant was doomed for a fall. One day, as he viewed his subject from on high, A voluptuous young wench caught his tired old eye. Bending over to see the oversexed goat, let his gold crown slip and fall into the moat. With a cry of sheer terror, he jumped like a fool. He rushed to his ditch. It reeked like a cesspool. He leaped in, kersplash, and sank like a stone. Everyone hoped for a new heir to the throne. But alas, he came up and staggered from the sewer. His robe smelled of offal, his breath like manure. Why did I do that? What possessed me today? I'm as daft as old YOLO, and now I smell like Dupre. And if anyone sees me, oh, what a disgrace. I had better leave if I want to save face. But a crowd had assembled and stared, amazed. The sight confused them. The stench left them dazed. And with a shriek, a young boy began to laugh, giggling and pointing at the king's fecal bath. Becoming enraged, the monarch suddenly turned wild. He looked like he wanted to strangle the child. His hand turned to fist. He struck lightning fast. But the old poop missed and fell on his ass. Not holding back, the crowd soon roared. The laughter was deafening. It grew till it soared. But the king found no humor and called for his men. The arrival of the guard quickly silenced the din. For all of you who found humor in my sorrow and misfortune will soon find the rack, and pain, and contortion. Then I will cackle as you stew and boil, in a pot full of lard and bubbling oil. And for those who survive this, they'd life or be dead, I'll pluck out their eyes and chop off their head. Finally in the wind their bodies will swing. Then you fools will be sorry for laughing at this king. Then all were led away at the point of a sword, while old Lord Brit took a dip in a ford. Then he laughed at the cries that screamed through the night. He chuckled at their anguish, he cackled at their plight. In Britannia today no one openly tells this tale, lest they find themselves thrown in tyrant's darkest jail. But here in our new homeland, this song can be sung. The tale of how British acquired his faint smell of dung. Wow, someone actually wrote all that. And also YOLO and Dupre. People back then knew who they were. It's kind of funny. This book, Mine Experience by I think we read this. It's about Stoneheart, Bloodspawn, the side effects of it, and how to remove it, avoid it, whatever. I'm not going to read it, I don't think. Because I was actually a lot to read earlier, so I'll skip through these a little bit, and you can pause if you want to read. That's it. If there's anything else in these crates I already checked. It's always good to double check. Sometimes I forget. So we got those 2 keys, assuming, and these 2 guys are trying to sleep. And they're hostile, so we're gonna kill them. They will attack you if you hang out too long. And since we don't have the Belt of Strength, the Axe, or the Gauntlet, the Quickness Gauntlets, the Avatar is actually not too well trained, so we have to be a little bit careful. He has nothing. This guy doesn't seem to be waking up. Escape is impossible. Nothing's impossible. Not in a video game. Also, did we... Let me double check. I think I forgot. I picked up 2 keys, right? Just making sure, you know. Yeah, we did. He's gone. Disappeared. Where'd he go? That was weird. He has nothing on him anyways, so let's not worry about that. And this, I think they respawn anyways. Oh boy, it's dark. Let's use the potion, which is not in there. And what did I get myself into? 1 minute, a woman, a mage, invited me to her home, her bedroom, to apparently buy spells from. The next minute, she's dancing naked. The Faberso comes in, mad, and next thing I know, I'm in a farcical trial, and I'm here. The way it happens so quickly is always so funny to me, but let's go this way. Oh, 2 monks. These guys are very tough. So tough I may have to cast magic on them. What can I use? I think explosion might work. There's 2 of them there. It did work. Nice. Great, it's a leecher thingy. No, don't get up. Heal. There we go. Avatar, don't get paralyzed. Oh no. This is not good. This section is actually kind of tough. And the light's out. I'm not gonna reload, because that's cheating. Let's just deal with the consequences, even though this was entirely unfair. I should have used magic on that thing. Let's use the light spell again from the potion. That's not it. I moved it too. Forgot. Got a bag, which has a create food scroll. I don't need that. I do need the bag. So I'll just carry it in my hand, I guess. I'll take that. Unbeknownst to Fabricio, I have hourglass that restores me to life. And there's that thing again. My goodness. Let's just ignore it. Go this way. Not gonna grab those. Don't need it. Oh, we teleported. Let's just not fight. I'm gonna run away. When I recorded this the other day, I died a lot. We're just not prepared at all. Present gold for food. Present this sword to this skeleton. How about you? There we go. That was easy. I see something, by the way. That's a gold nugget behind the screen there. The wall. Slime. Oh, this guy's been slimed. Oh, I won though. Why is it playing losing music? And why am I poisoned? Because I stepped on something. Something's invisible. Let's just go away. And go down here. I really don't know how far I'm gonna go in this dungeon. It's actually kind of long, like I said. Those light potions don't last very long, do they? Who the heck is attacking me behind the wall there? Is it dead? I guess it is. Okay, let's go this way. Let's not go that way. It's a dead end. Let's go this way. What the heck? No, I'm reloading. Not dealing with that right now. It's like, how are you supposed to know that's trapped, you know? You're gonna run into it on your first playthrough. Maybe future playthroughs, I didn't remember that, that section. So hey, there's a trap that sets you backwards and you have to start all over again. I'm a little impatient right now. This section of Dungeon Freedom is... Oh, that's an obvious path. I'll go there in a few minutes. A few seconds. You didn't see that. That didn't happen. I think this chest is trapped, by the way. So one way to check, you can just detect traps with this spell. I think it's trapped. I'm going to take a guess and say it is. Yep, see that aura there? Because if we open it, we're going to get hurt. These are magical restoration potions. Mana restoration. So I don't think I need this. I'll take these. These are handy. It heals a varying amount, I believe. I guess I'll take the ring of regeneration as well. Because we're going to get hurt here a lot. We only have so much mana. We can't rest right now. We could have rested earlier, but I didn't feel like it, I guess. Alright, that section's the worst. Let's go this way. Let's just avoid that. There's only two there. Purple goop. And bats. I saw a bat behind the wall. At you. And he's been halved at. Well, the bat's a he. Oh, a storeroom. Trade gold for necessities. And this is where Fabricio was just... That guy's so insecure. Like, he's not in love with Frigidazzi, but he sees her as, like, his object, conquest, I guess. And apparently she's just using him for political purposes. What's a gargoyle doing here? They think gargoyles are demons, so wouldn't they try to kill it or bind it to its will, the mages of Moonshade? take out this rat. I think... yeah, he's hostile. He'll attack you after a while. Assuming. And if it's hostile, they attack him. That's how it works. He's a bit slow on the uptake. Whatever that is. Whoever that is. Go. Do you have anything? No. Nothing in these barrels. Do I have a key for this room? Can I unlock it? Yes, I can. Uh-oh. It's a monk. At you. Do not cast any magic, just let me beat you up. Man, I miss my gauntlets of quickness and axe. We didn't get to use it that much either. I didn't even know I would play this part, the Frigidazzi scene and Mountains of Freedom, until a little late. I thought buying spells was going to take a while, I guess. That's Bloodspawn, by the way. That's what you use the ritual bloodletting device on Stoneheart, the red thing on our inventory. And it comes out like that. But thankfully we don't need that, because we got something better, our ring of reagents. That's all reagents in there, I'm not going to worry about that. Let's just go this way. Oh, there's going to be spiders in here, isn't there? Yes, there is. How about you? Little critters. Come on. There we go. Okay. Then open up the right bag for a change. I will take these gold nuggets. Just in case we need them. Because we still haven't bought every spell yet. Just from Mortegro, man, was he a cheapskate. Not a cheapskate, but a greedy necromage. More blood spawn. Oh, I gotta cut that out. I burped on my end. Wanted to lose too many lockpicks. Here we go. Alright, in we go. Here we are. Take another 5 minutes ought to do it. Sulphurous Ash. Light Source. This Great Light spell lasts a long time, I'm glad. Oh, there is something around that corner there. Do I have a key for this door? I do, surprisingly. And who put these doors here? They said these mountains used to be just a mine until they depleted it of minerals and they turned it into a prison. That's why there's a door there. Oh my god. It's a dead woman. Necromancer must live here. Stop! Thou shalt not steal my blood spawn. Well, I don't have no interest in blood spawn. You don't need to attack me. But since you are, here, have some lightning. Because he's actually kind of tough. As you can see. Well, let's just attack him normally, I guess. This isn't, he's supposed to run away. He got stuck by the bear rug. Well, let's play that again. Let's try that again. It didn't work out too well. I wish to speak to thee. Let's move away a little bit. Why does he turn into a bear? Is he a druid? Oh, a spell like that. Okay. Let's see if this works now. There we go. Now he's running away. Thou shalt not have my reagents. I have no interest in your reagents, man. Man, I'm hurt. The first time I encountered him, when I recorded last time, yesterday, beat him in one go. Took me like 3 times. Let me heal up, though. My goodness, dude. That should be enough. Much better. Does this lady have anything? This guy's trying to make blood spawn. He's using a blood device on his victims to create the reagent. Imagine in these mines, they're hungry for reagents. If only they knew I had the ring of reagents. Thankfully, they don't know. Let's go in here. Where am I? Oh, who's that? I'm Stefano, late of Moonshade, an obtainer of rarities. He's got some hair on him, too, my goodness. I was unjustly imprisoned here, my lord. I'll freely admit that I am no fighter, but I have a quick wit and information that should help us pass out of this foul place. Perhaps if we join together, we have some small chance of escape. I'll ask him to join us in a minute. Let's ask about, rarities. I'll admit that that title covers quite a bit. Scrolls, magical apparatus, lab equipment, reagents, anything that a client thinks is of value. That's what I mean by rarities. Okay? Magical apparatus. Wands, crystal balls, things like that. Of course, I'll never admit to anything in specific. I value my life too much. Unless I'm actually caught in the act, no one can prove anything, and I stay alive a bit longer. Thou might say it's a game of sorts. Client? Who are your clients? Oh no, ask no more. I guarantee my clients complete secrecy. If I ever forget that promise dealing with mages, I'll be very dead. Very fast. Or at least I hope I'll be dead. There are a few drawbacks to knowing anything about magic, my lord. All the alternatives to being dead come too readily to mind. Let's change the subject. I talk bores the A, so that I think that I drone on and on with my long-winded stories. Well, actually, 'tis the truth. A bad habit that I'd like to be rid of. At any rate, what dost thou desire to speak of? I'll ask about information in a bit. What do you know of Moonshade? We heard about this guy, by the way, that I mentioned earlier. He's a thief who lives in Moonshade. He's not really a mage, even though he has some magical talent. The magic he uses is from scrolls. He primarily hires himself out to steal stuff from mages, which got him into a bit of trouble. Moonshade. No, I'm no mage, as I said. But they tell me that I have a bit of the ability. What good is that when this entire city is ruled by adepts? No, 'tis not for me. Give me a good challenging search any day. The harder something is to find, the better I like it. Ability. Magic. It seems as if some dark magic is following me these days. I sometimes carry a spell scroll too. May as well make use of any edge I can acquire. In fact, if we escape, I suggest that thou shouldst acquire as many spell scrolls as thou canst. They come in very handy, I do agree with that. Adepts. If Moonshade weren't ruled by the adepts, canst thou imagine what it would be like, trying to govern all those powerful mages? With all their fragile egos. Large, fragile egos. I know of one area, it's called Moonglow from where I come from. They're doing pretty alright. That's because they follow honesty. And you guys, well not him, but you know, Moonshade, are not following honesty. It's in the name. If there's one central problem with the adepts, 'tis that they have no regard for those little or no magic. However, in some ways, that makes my life easier. I like that theme with these mages here, because I know if they had no magical ability, they would be looked upon no better than how they look upon mundanes. Take away their magic, they're nobodies. Okay. Egos. I know a thing or two about egos. At least one guy. Let's not know the half of it. I know all of it, dude. One time I was passing time at the Blue Boar while Frigidazzi was there. Rodolencia entered and rather pointedly remarked that Frigidazzi was looking excessively rumpled that day. And suddenly they were at each other. And suddenly they were at each other. That sounds like what will happen, right? Of course, they were pretty much evenly matched, until Selenia showed up, that is. But 'tis that I refer to. Fragile egos and hot tempers, and magic to top it. Not a safe combination. We actually met Selenia a while ago, though her name was spelled differently. I would rather face the ire of Frigidazzi and Rodolencia than that of Selenia. She is worse than a cat, my lord. She'll toy with thee before she kills thee. She wants thee to have time to consider what will happen to thee, and why. Selenia was Frigidazzi's dearest friend till they had a fight. I do not know what it was about, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was caused by Frigidazzi being friendly with the Mage Lord. I think Selenia thought she was to be his next companion. All I know is that the fight was spectacular, and Selenia was on Hawk's ship the next day, bound for Sleeping Bull. They say she doth have relatives in Monitor, that'd be Lydia. Rodaluncia, we killed her. Dead, is she? At thine hand? Well, actually it was me and 3 of my friends. Or rather, 2 of my friends. Yolo and Dupre. We were trying to rescue Shamino. She abducted him. We thankfully got him out in the nick of time. I'm impressed at thy skills, my lord. Most could not kill the Red Witch. It was actually pretty easy. She died in like a second or 2. And we met Frigidazzi, nice lady, just she kind of has a thirst for men. And I forgot to mention, did I mention this? If you play a female avatar, she still hits on you, your character. She swings both ways. In fact, if you read the hint book in For Serpentile, Thoxa narrates the hint book, like in character-wise. And in the hint book, she gets propositioned by Brendan from Monitor, you know the guy, Fabercio, and Frigidazzi, which makes her very uncomfortable. Because I imagine she devoted her life to Zenka and the prophecies that she's most likely never been with anyone before. Thou knowest the kind of beauty that artisans create? 'Tis like unto Frigidazzi, like a cold marble carving. Well, I'll grant that there's a hot predator under that shroud of ice, but few have seen it. Like the cold spells she excels in, Frigidazzi certainly knows how to lower the temperature in a room. 'Tis a wonder that Fabercio hath not died of frostbite by now. We can only be so lucky, Stefano. I cannot discern if he's a brave man or merely stupid. Let's go with the latter. Nothing more. Apologize for joining on and on. What wouldst thou like to speak about? Search. When people hire my services, they know exactly what they need and where it is. Or perhaps I should say that they know whose mansion it is in. From there I must determine how to enter and when. And then I have to outwit the adept who wish to keep it hidden from my talents. I have yet to be outdone, I might add. Easier. As I said, my lord, I acquire rarities, and sometimes those items are previously owned, shall we say. The adepts, being the pompous lot they are, fail to see anything other than a magical attack as a threat. Most adepts resort to simple physical traps to guard their mansions. Of course, there is always the automatons to deal with. But once I know that secret, their home is as good as mine. Stefano has a lot to say, doesn't he? Automatons, how do you deal with them? Those are the construct that Terizio makes, indeed. They are quite fast and fierce fighters. Definitely not what thou wouldst care to encounter in a dark hallway, I'll tell thee. I still have the scars to prove it. Physical traps. Well, it could be anything from sliding walls to fireballs that shoot out of the wall to secret doors. And dealing with most of those are easy enough if thou art careful. The automatons are harder to deal with, as he said earlier. Apologize for droning on and on. What wouldst thou like to speak about? About that information you were saying. Somewhere within this labyrinth there are 2 switches that must be thrown, at the same time, in order to continue to the next. I do not know where it is exactly. I'm sure that it will be apparent. Without me to aid thee, thou hast no chance of winning free of this place, for all thy prowess. And without thee, I have no hope of surmounting what lies in the next room. What is in the next room? One of the things I bless about my peculiar line of work is the ability to move silently, my lord. It may be the only thing that saved my life this time. When I came into this room, I heard some sort of commotion in the next room. When I sneaked into the entrance, all I saw was a mage and a very, very large monster before I ran back in here. Last time I looked, they were still in there. And who was this mage? What did he look like? I did not recognize him. By the robes, I judged him a mage. I heard that a few foolhardy mages have attempted to sneak into these tunnels in search of Stoneheart. Few who try ever return to the outside world. We know of Stoneheart. We have one in our backpack. Funny how they didn't confiscate it, though. I guess they figure, and by that I mean the Mage Council, figure it's best here, where it won't see the light of day. Oh well. It is forbidden to possess Stoneheart, my lord, and for good reason. is the basis for the reagent that fueled all of Vasulio's spells, and some say it can steal a man's wits. It is very dangerous. I like how we already knew what that does, Stoneheart, but I do like that if you ask pretty much everyone, they have their own way of explaining what it does based on their personality. A nice little attention to detail. Vasulio. I'm not sure I can speak of it here, in this awful place. Old Fedibiblio uses it as a tale to frighten the novices. And I'll admit that it made an impression on me. Vasulio was an adept who lived outside of the strictures. He tortured and killed without restraint, using death agony to feed power into his spells. The council put him to death, but his power had grown beyond even that limitation. They found his grave empty not long after burial, and they say he still wanders the world looking for new victims. We encountered his coffin in his house a long time ago. We know the strictures, but we'll ask him. The strictures are the rules that all mages must obey, novice and adept alike. They address what experimentation can be done, what reagents can be used or sold, things like that. The strictures are meant to keep mages from abandoning all bonds of civilized behavior in pursuit of knowledge. As thou shouldst know, my lord, there are some things in the world that would be better unknown. I do agree with that, but you don't need strictures, you just need to follow honesty. Anyways, let's ask about monster that you saw. I think it was a dragon. Oh, please, my lord, thou must let me join thee. Without mine aid, thou canst not hope to escape, and I am no fighter. Without thee, I'm a dead man. Okay, change subject. He says that. Join us. Thou and I will do good together. And if you remember, I believe Zenka's book, or Thox's advice, something on Monk Isle, it said the Avatar, the hero from another world, needs to ally with a thief to continue on with his quest, or something like that. This is that thief. We need him to progress. Now he's in our party, and he's pleased to be of service. Let's open up his inventory, and his face is rather beat up. Did that happen here, Stefano? Or is that your scars that you were talking about from your scuffle with automatons? The part's going to end really soon, by the way, but I'm going to take off his plate armor, his plate boots, and I'm going to wear it. He can wear this. He can wear the fur boots. I'll take that, and you can have this bag, which holds that. I don't need the spell scroll. And this crate's empty. That sucks. That sucks the big one, not in a good way. Why'd I put the bandage in there? It should go in here. You can have this. I see you have some bandages. That's cool. And some money. I guess you'll hold on to the money, Stefano. I'm getting a little bit mixed up here. Let me close all this. Put that there and open him again. And I was thinking he should be carrying this. Never mind. He needs a sword. He's not going to be able to help much because... well, I'll show you in a few seconds. Just going to double check all my stuff here. I think I'll hold on to the healing supplies. He can hold on to the money. I got the food. He's got an empty bag. That there. Yeah, he can hold on to the money. Never mind. You can have all this, Stefano. But like I said, he's not much help in a fight because... look at his stats. Level 1, 17 strength, 12 dexterity. Pretty smart though, 19 intelligence. Well, smarter than a couple of my companions at least. And a whopping 2 combat. Man, not 1, not 3, 2. They gave him 2 combat. By that I mean origin. That's funny. Isn't he supposed to be a thief? What kind of thief has 12 dexterity? If you remember Selena, she's supposed to be a mage, and she has low intelligence. And also thief. There was actually a thief class in the Ultima games before the 4th game. I can't remember if you could create a class in 1 and 2. But in Ultima 3, you can play as a human, bobbit, dwarf, or elf. And one of the classes was a thief. They did away with thief in Ultima 4 and onwards because it's not very virtuous. So a thief is really like a bard, basically, if you want to play like a roguish kind of person. But yeah, I've always liked thieves, not like stealing, but more like a sneaky fighter kind of guy that travels light. That's a cool class. I mostly like knights and fighters and stuff, but anyways. I think that's going to be it. So the next part, I hope we can get out of these Mountains of Freedom and back to Moonshade. I can't believe I'm looking forward to getting back to Moonshade.